We go. As a reminder, the winner of this series goes up against Ryu in the grand finals. He is currently waiting for them, chilling out, watching this series, and he switched at the last moment. We have a PVZ. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Mexican, usually Zerg player, but here switching things up, playing Protoss, representing Estral Esports. It is JimRising. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player representing Team Super, making his return to competitive play. It is TheZergLord. Actually, Zerg. Oh boy, here we go. So, a bit of a PVZ again. Our players are doing everything they can to deny the ZVZs. We even had Elaine off-racing as Terran earlier. No! Off-racing as Terran earlier. The ZergLord had 300 minerals. He was 1 second too late. He didn't throw down his natural, and now his own natural base is going to be delayed. Ugh. Not the biggest of deals, but again, very annoying. The ZergLord wanted to expand at his natural location. JimRising already getting into his head, already being annoying. JimRising being like, yo, you thought it was a good idea to come back? Nah, mate. PVZ. Oh, God. Meanwhile, I love this. Across the map, the ZergLord also being annoying here with his own drone just rallied here, trying to delay the Nexus 4 as long as he can as well. Unfortunately, he can't force an awkward base to be taken. That's just not how it works. But a very cute opener here by the ZergLord with his drone. Not very usual. A little bit inefficient because it does mean that this drone isn't going to be mining, but it does delay the Nexus, and it does confirm that, okay, you're not proxying me, you're not doing anything crazy either. Ugh. So we are getting into the swing of things. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, here we go. Now, what I will say is that usually JimRising likes playing with SkyToss. He was very, very fond of double Stargate Void Ray openers in the previous patch when playing PvZ. But, of course, everyone should be aware that double Stargate Void Ray openers aren't really a thing anymore because of the nerf, because Void Rays are that much more expensive, because Queens, you know, they got nerfed as well when it comes to the Queen Walks, and it does mean that in the meta, Protoss players have been more fond of ground toss instead. We'll see if JimRising has adopted the meta, or if he still wants to go straight into Stargates, straight into Fleet Beacons, the way that he used to. Meanwhile, these things are going to be slipping in. But oh my god, they get a free scout. They get into the, they get past the wall into the natural base. They could go into the main as well. At the same time, we have 2 adepts across the map. This is the downside. The Lings usually are here to defend against the adepts, but they are not. But we do have 4 more in the main base. The adepts aren't going to get any economic damage at all as they're forced back. Oh, but they do get a drone here at the natural. Oh, can he get 2? Oh, almost gets a second. Oh, almost gets a second. Almost gets. Oh, he will get 2 in the end. Forces 2 spores as well. Then he will finally get cleaned up. Meanwhile, the ZergLord looks like he wasn't quite able to make it into the main base. He did see the second pylon, so he knows where to scout. The Overlord is en route, and there is no Stalker, so this Overlord should eventually see the Stargate. So everything looking pretty standard here. Obviously, the Overlord has a long way to go, but still nothing shoots up. Warp Gate is still a ways off. There is going to be no Stalker here available, so the ZergLord is going to get some nice scouting information. Meanwhile, back at home, you know, he was able to eventually deal with all those adepts. He's got his 3rd base on the way. He's droning up. He's getting more queens. More than enough queens to deal with a Void Ray if it comes out across the map. Meanwhile, Overlord does confirm, the opener does confirm it's going to be a Void Ray first, and ooh, we have +1 air attack on the way here for Jim. Unfortunately, the ZergLord doesn't have anything in position yet, but this scout is going to be so important. This Ling needs to see the Cybercore. If he sees it researching, he will know 100% that it's going to be SkyToss. Up, up. He needs to check, Puppy. He needs to check. The Link for the time being just running around. Meanwhile, the Overlord is still alive, and he may be able to check with the Overlord anyway. At the same time, Adepts come in, but get cleaned up as well. Don't get any economic damage done, and the Overlord will see that the Cyber Core is indeed researching.
Your forces are taking damage.
So again, even though he hasn't seen the second Stargate, even though he hasn't seen the Fleet Beacon, seeing the upgrade should be more than enough for the ZergLord to realize, oh, okay, I need to go into a lair, I need spores, I need to go into a spire as soon as possible. So unfortunately, we don't know if the ZergLord really saw that with his own eyes, and if he's been able to connect the dots. He should have, and I want to believe in him, but we'll see once the lair does finish. For the time being, Roach Warren on the way, which makes sense. You do need a Roach Warren just in case it's a fake out, just in case it is going to be a ground toss army. You need the availability of Roaches available to you. We have an Evo Chamber as well for +1 range, which will help out Queens, or +1 melee, which will help out Link Bane. Still don't see much of a commitment though. Meanwhile, the ZergLord did confirm the third base being thrown down. He's spreading more creep. He's getting another base up. Roach speed is on the way, which is a little bit questionable. The lair is done. We should be seeing a spire. +1 melee. Where's the spire? The ZergLord doesn't have the gas for it because... Okay, there we go. He does throw it down in the end. Thank God. So this tells all of us that, yes, the ZergLord did notice the upgrade. He is fully aware of what is coming his way, and he's responding quite nicely. I'm not too convinced about the Roach speed, to be honest. I do think that this may be wasted gas, but again, I'm sure he's just being safe. I'm sure just in case it is a fake out, he needs to make sure that he has Roaches available to deal with like a ground push. Meanwhile, carriers are on the way here for JimRising. He didn't go straight into Void Rays. He only has a single Void Ray right now. So basically, JimRising went for the greediest version of this build possible. And again, if this went unscouted, these first two carriers could just end the game. Thankfully, though, because the ZergLord is ready for this, like, he should be getting Corruptors as soon as the Spire is done. He's getting his fourth base. He's joining up, going for a massive Link run by here. +1 melee isn't done yet, but no shield batteries? Question mark? Ooh, the Link's gonna get a lot of damage done here. JimRising being so greedy. Despite having 2 pylons here, he didn't have a single shield battery, didn't have any units at all. He was just cutting too many corners. 3 probes go down. Not too many workers in the end, but a lot of lost mining time, and even gets both pylons in the end, which means he can come back for a counterattack later on. Meanwhile, all the Lings are turning around. He has recognized, hold on, you only have a single Void Ray. I can get a kill on the third. At the same time, we do have Adepts across the map, and they don't really have much to worry about. So, ooh, drones are going to be falling here, but we have a little bit of an A move. The third base will go down. Very nicely done here by the ZergLord. Again, JimRising was just being far too greedy. Carriers are coming out across the map. Oh my God, they're actually already here, but Corruptors are about to pop out on top of the carriers. Oh, he's trying to focus down the Spire. Can he do it? Can he do it? And it looks like he will get the Spire in the end. Meanwhile, more Zealots are coming out. Ooh, even though the ZergLord got to kill the third base, can he survive? Looks like with Mutas, he will. Looks like with these Corruptors, he will as well. Oh, almost gets a carrier, but not quite. Bearing in mind, these 6 Corruptors are going to be the last Corruptors that he can make. But with the power of Mutas, with the power of Corruptors, with the power of Queens, I think the ZergLord can do this. And here we go. He dives on them immediately. He will get 1 carrier for his troubles, forces a recall, and he is perfectly fine. Spire is being rebuilt. JimRising still stuck on 2 bases, heavily oversaturated. His worker count is looking okay, but again, just mining off of 2 bases. Speaking of 2 bases, Mutas are going to be going across the map, and no cannons, no shield batteries, nothing in the main base, and the recall was just used, which means the carriers cannot turn around. So we're seeing a pseudo base trade. Mutas are going to go ham here in the main base, take down every single worker. Corruptors can focus down some of the production as well if they so choose. Meanwhile, carriers, he cannot turn around. JimRising has to commit. The Spire still isn't done. It's not done. Look how much the ZergLord is banking right now. He's banking so much because he needs to make the mutas. He needs to make the corruptors. He is turning around though. And again, I still think that the ZergLord has a large enough army to deal with this. One base will go down. The ZergLord keeps the majority of his drones alive. And JimRising turns around. This is still a pretty close game. Ooh, the ZergLord supply blocked. Even though he has the Spire, he still can't make anything. Finally, he breaks free. A bit of a laser overlord's on the way. 8 more corruptors on the way. And even though we see transition into Phoenixes, they're depowered. Oh! JimRising on the back foot. Still no stack defense at his third base. Mutas picking off 7 probes in the blink of an eye. Speaking of blink, we do see a blink on forward here by JimRising. He will get a couple of mutas, but again, still not worth it. He's still struggling in the economy. He's still so battered, so bruised. He's getting High Templar, I imagine, for Archons. Archons are going to be amazing here. He is getting a good army, but it's a small army. That's the problem. Meanwhile, the ZergLord is maxing out. Like, he's at 166 supply. He's working on even more of that. His drone count is at 80. He has more than enough workers right now. And, I don't know about this. Pieces that go down. More Blink Stalkers are warping in, which will help, don't get me wrong. But the ZergLord, he can afford to lose a couple of mutas here and there. And here comes the Roach Ravager. Roach speed is going to end up paying off here. Like, JimRising is doing the smart thing, and he has stopped carrier production, which makes sense. He's going straight into just nothing but Blink Stalkers. But the ZergLord, likewise, is meeting him with Ravager Ling. So I don't know if JimRising can really do much here. Oh, he catches the mutas though. Very nice pick off. As the ZergLord needs to consolidate his army. He needs to bring everything together here. Does catch a couple of these Stalkers. A couple of Biles are going to go off as well. Corruptors are coming in from the side. Doesn't commit. Again, JimRising, he's just been trading very well. Shaving off a couple more units here and there. I just don't think he should keep pushing because, oh, he runs into a massive concave. Archons are going down left and right. Every single carrier is going to be focused down. But the Blink Stalkers, they're pushing through, actually. And we may have too many Corruptors here. In the end, they will get all the carriers, but what about the Blink Stalkers? Uh-oh. JimRising, is he gonna do this? He's pushing on forward. He blinks on forward as well. He's gonna be able to take down a lot of these roaches. And he is pretty all in here. He's losing a couple more of his Stalkers. Reinforcements are coming in just in time for the ZergLord. And it's not a clean fight. It's not a clean hold, but it is a hold nonetheless. Ay, ay, ay. Again, pretty close for comfort there. But JimRising just lost all of his high-tech units. He lost his Archons. He lost his carriers as well. He's literally working with nothing but Stalkers. And even though he traded okay, and he got, like, he kind of got a base, but he didn't get any worker damage. Like, we still have plenty of drones available for the ZergLord. He still can just make nothing but roaches. JimRising needs a little bit more here. And he knows that he is working towards disruptors, which are a game changer, but he needs time to make disruptors. And the ZergLord shouldn't be giving him much time. Shouldn't be. Well, I will see. Do have a bit of a Zealot right here at the third base. Honestly, this is pretty big. The ZergLord is a little bit distracted. The Zealots, they get in. Oh, and they are going to be getting all these queens. The entire army is forced to retreat at the same time. Roach is going for a counterattack at the third base. At the same time, we have all the Blink Stalkers taking out the fourth base of the ZergLord. So a base for a base. Can he hold on to his third? Up! Up! It's going to be so close. He will. The Roach run by does nothing. JimRising loses 15 workers and the 4th base. Sorry, the 5th base. JimRising is coming back. Killing that base, and for all those roaches to do nothing. This base could be sniped later on, don't get me wrong. But JimRising, he's back in this. The ZergLord has the supply lead, but that's only because he has Roach Ravager. Roach Ravager is inflated supply. The supply is lying right now. The soup, sometimes it lies. There's a bit of a Roach run by here towards the right-hand side of the map, but it's not going to be able to break through at all. JimRising, he's doing it. Not like this. The ZergLord was doing so well up until this point, but he threw away too many roaches in the end. He should have been taking up towards Hydras and Lurkers. He was stuck on Roach Ravager Ling, which is still a good mid-game composition, but mid-game composition. Like, JimRising, like, the game is going longer than that. Oh boy. Here we go, the ZergLord working towards one big push. This time he's got Banelings. This time he's got a lot of Ravagers as well. This is going to hit hard, but we have shield batteries. JimRising is kind of in position. He doesn't have eyes on the army though, and yo, if he gets caught out in the middle of the map. Let's be careful. A lot of roaches are getting picked off. Oh my god, the Nova! No! Oh! Massive purification Novas go up. Almost every single Ravager gets focused down as well. The ZergLord, this was not the fight to take it. Now JimRising takes the supply lead. How does he do it? There was a period where the ZergLord was up 70 supply. But JimRising, he claws his way back. He doesn't need Skytoss. Blink Stalkers, Archons, a couple of Disruptors is all he needs. Novas are going off once again. They connect with Banelings. Not the best connections, I'll be honest. But again, he doesn't need the best connections, because the Blink Stalkers are just too much. Archons are holding the line as well. Eventually they get cleaned up, but there's just too much Protoss. Ooh, but 36 Lings are on the way with the Ling reinforcements. Oh, the ZergLord, he holds on. He's holding. Lings are exactly what you need against all these Stalkers. At the same time, Corruptors! Yo, they actually got a kill on the 3rd base. 2 Corruptors, the MVPs, mate. This is still so close. Lings are coming in, getting a decent amount of damage done. They force the Blinks back from the Stalkers, but now they are out of Blink. Once again, we need a Warping back at home, Papi. We need a Warping at home. Stalkers deny +2. The ZergLord goes for a massive counterattack as well. Overcharge trying to keep the Nexus up and running, but the ZergLord gives up one of his crucial mining bases. He will get the Nexus, but JimRising, he's got a 3rd, he's got a 4th, he doesn't care. Oof. Slow warping is going to be denied. Meanwhile, across the map, these Stalkers have not been dealt with. These Blink Stalkers are winning JimRising the game. He's doing it. He's doing it. Mutas are coming out. Question mark? No. Not like this. Base after base going down. We do see a mass Muta switch here from the ZergLord, which is good. But we'll see if this is going to work out here. There are no Archons remaining for JimRising. JimRising needs Archons desperately. Archons will completely shut this down. Blink Stalkers are okay, but if the Muta cloud is big enough, then they can go toe-to-toe with these Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, Mutas, they take down one base, they go for another. Oh god, they can fight with this meager force of Stalkers. And again, full base trade mode, mate. JimRising is trying to get into Phoenixes, which I don't think is the best call right now. When the Muta cloud is this large, Phoenixes do not matter. This is what I mean. Look, the Phoenix, no! Goes down immediately. Meanwhile, JimRising is, the ZergLord is running out of bases, but he does have another hatchery on the way here towards the north. He is also rerouting towards the bottom right-hand side as well. He can afford another hatchery. There we go. But if JimRising can find these bases, he will win the base trade. He will win by the process of elimination. A lot of gas geysers left though. A lot of spores as well. 26 Stalkers against 27 Mutas. The Mutas win. Head on. JimRising is coming back. I don't know if that's the best move, puppy. I don't know about that. Okay. If he fights with shield batteries, with overcharge especially, Jim could... yeah, Jim could take the fight. He could. Will he, though? Oh, he's got 3 Archons, mate. With 3 Archons, it's over. The ZergLord cannot fight this. Not with the Archons. And he knows this. He backs the hell up. He goes into the main instead. He's being chased away. If it was just Stalker versus Muta, the ZergLord will come out on top. But now with Stalker, with Phoenixes, with Archons as well. He has to dance around as best he can. He does now have 2 hatcheries up and running, and he is mining, by the way. Like, with mining, he can start rebuilding his tech. He can go into a lair, he can go into a spawning pool, he can maybe go back into a spire if he wants to keep making mutas. I do think that lings are all he needs, though. Oh, God! Ugh. More mutas go down. Archons chilling here, waiting to try and catch the army. Fun fact, the ZergLord doesn't know about that last mining base of Jim. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Oh, Jim, though, he does throw away 2 of his Stalkers. Questionable move. I mean, Jim is looking for the base. He does find the bottom right-hand base, though. He is headed in that direction, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's another hatchery available for the ZergLord. Regardless, though, catching this base is huge. He gets the drones. He will get the hatchery. Meanwhile, mutas are across the map. Picking off a couple more buildings. Again, the ZergLord still doesn't know about the base. Ah. Oh, he's gonna find it. He's on the way, but he has to be careful. That's where the Archons are. Oh God, no! He runs into it! No, the move command! With the overcharge. This is not the fight you want to be taking. He does get 1 of the Archons, but GG gets called, and JimRising takes game number 1. Oh my God. GG. Well played. That was game 1. Oh my God. Look at the graphs, mate. Look at the graphs. That was such a chaotic game from both players. You can see the back and forth. You can see where the disruptor landed, where the purification nova landed. The massive drop in supply is when JimRising had the juiciest nova on those Ravagers. He killed every single Ravager before the fight started. That was the moment where JimRising won. It was really cool for the ZergLord to go into a Muta switch, which is what you want when you're going for a base trade. But he didn't know about that last mining base. He thought he was further ahead than he really was. So yeah, he just couldn't. He couldn't deny the mining. He couldn't stop Jim. He couldn't stop Jim from making Phoenixes and from making Archons. Oof. GG. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. What a game. What a game. My heart bleeds a little bit for the ZergLord, but at the same time, that was wild. We rarely get base trades like that. And again, for JimRising to come back the way he did, despite being scouted, despite losing his carriers early on and not doing much with them, yeah, switching into Blink Stalkers like that is the way to go. Very smart play by Jim. I just I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And now we're getting into game number 2. And yeah, we'll see what he has in store for us here. We'll see if JimRising plays Protoss again. That's kind of the big question. Oh boy, we'll see, we'll see. As it looks like the second map is going to be Curious Minds. Oh. Let me in, let me in. It's like there we go, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Lobby has been made, and it looks like Jim wants to play Protoss again. Oh boy. On Curious Minds, I feel like this is not the map that you want to play Protoss on. Like notoriously, Protoss players are not fond of Curious Minds. The third base is difficult to hold on to. It's so wide open as well. Like taking a third can be really difficult on this map, and Skytoss isn't ideal, unless we see something like Lavid Epps. We'll see, we'll see. We shall see as we are loading into game numero dos, number 2, in this best of 3 semi-finals match. Once again, a PvZ. He's fond of the Protoss. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Mexican, usually Zerg, but now Protoss player representing Estral Esports. It is JimRising. Oh my god, let's go! Because spawning in the top left-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, going for a 12 pool, we have the Brazilian Zerg player representing Team Super. It is TheZergLord. And I love the idea here. Again, JimRising's main race is not Protoss, so holding against early aggression can be really difficult when you're off racing, but the probe does dip in, and he does not waste time here at the natural base, because there is no natural base. JimRising checks the main, and he will see the timing on the spawning pool. He knows about the 12 pool. And here we go. Immediately, he is walling off back at home with that second gateway. Should be getting the Zealot out, should be getting the wall up and running. Not ideal here for the ZergLord, but depending on how much he commits, he can still get damage done. Meanwhile, here we go. We even have a second pylon in case the Lings break on through. Killing the first pylon, we will not depower everything. There will be a second one to keep everything up and running. For the most part, I say for the most part because this second pylon is not within range of the upper gateway, so it will only keep one gateway powered. So a bit of a questionable position here with the pylon, not gonna lie. Lings are on the way. They're flooding across the map. Meanwhile, here we go. Cybercore gets thrown down. And the Zealots are still not out. Oof. As we see a full wall off. I love this. We have very reduced surface area on the Cybercore. It's not exposed because of the third pylon. Zealot comes out, but ooh, it does get surrounded. Zealot will go down. Well, with a second Zealot, it also gets surrounded. Not ideal here for Jim. Without his Zealots, the Lings, they can break through. But we have 2 more on the way. Not the most standard hold here from Jim, but I mean, it's gonna work. The Lings aren't gonna break through. And the ZergLord knows that. He will back off in the end. JimRising has held, but damage was done, right? 2 Zealots were killed, 2 more Zealots were forced out. That's 400 minerals kind of wasted. The second pylon was thrown down here as part of the wall. Third pylon died, wasn't cancelled. That was a kill on the third pylon. So it did cost JimRising quite a bit, but we'll see if he can even things up, because those 2 Zealots get across the map and they are going for the drones. Ooh, okay, they turn around, they go for the queens instead. Lings are forced to come back home. These Zealots shouldn't do too much damage, to be honest. There's not enough energy for changes. Yo, can they get a queen? Up! They get 1 queen. They shouldn't get a second, but 1 queen is already pretty goddamn good. Oh my god, so he gets a second! What? No! The ZergLord, not like this. The two adepts get across the map as well. There is no link speed. They're going for the mineral lines with the death of the two queens. These adepts can do a lot of damage. They can reduce surface area here between the mineral lines. No, the ZergLord. Not the best pathing for JimRising, so the adepts are finally going to get cleaned up, but not without dealing a little bit more damage as the adepts escape. Meanwhile, across the map, Lings did get in. Yo, they actually depowered everything. I am quite surprised that they got both pylons. So a little bit of havoc is being wreaked here in the main base of JimRising. He hasn't thrown down the tech structure. Not yet. There's still no Stargate. There's still no Twilight Council. He has 0 production right now. But the ZergLord doesn't have any links to follow this up on. So these two links are the only thing he has to work with. Pylons, gateways are repowered. JimRising now regain control of his main base. What is this game? What even is this game? Stargate gets thrown down in the main base, despite the fact that the ZergLord is in the bases of JimRising. He will not scout this. Ooh, he does get cleaned up. There is no Overlord in position to see what the follow-up is going to be. For all the ZergLord knows, it's going to be a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts. It could be a Dark Shrine follow-up. It could be a fast Robo into Disruptor drops. He has no idea. Meanwhile, we do have 9 Lings here for the ZergLord. Is this going to be enough? Oh, God. I don't know, puppy. I don't know. Adepts shouldn't commit to the shade. They do, question mark. Questionable shade here. One of the adepts is going to get cleaned up in the main base, but the other two are going to try and get a little bit more drone damage done. They do get 2 drones in the end. Only 2 though. Oh, only 3. 4. Only 3, only 3. And now we can all calm down a little bit. After the 12 pool opener, we can calm down. Jim, he's working on his Void Ray. This is scouted here by the ZergLord. He was able to go all the way across the map with his Overlord, so he's fully aware of what the opener is. He can now follow up with more queens. He can join up his third base. Things can return to normalcy. And things can calm down. What's important as well is that without any anti-air, the ZergLord is going to be able to scout the follow-up. Overlord will eventually die, but he confirms the Robo, the Twilight Council, and the Forge. He knows it's not going to be Skytoss. And he knows that he has to focus a lot more on Roaches instead. With the lair finishing up, he should be focusing on that Roach, on Roach speed, maybe some detection as well in case it is going to be a Dark Shrine, but of course, we doubt it, we doubt it. There it is. Glial is on the way. Nidus as well. Oh my god. The ZergLord does not want Jim to be comfortable. He does not want Jim to come back in this game and get into the mid game. And I like this because it's going to take a while for everything to kick in. You know, all things considered, Blink is late. +1 is late as well. There's a reason why Jim is trying to chrono boost them out as fast as possible. Because of the opener, everything is so delayed. Because of the early game, I should say. And the ZergLord is just going to go for the all-in. This third base is never going to finish. It's just not going to happen. With only 2 gateways, I don't think that Jim has enough to defend. Like, sure, he has a Void Ray and an Adept and 2 Zealots, but those 4 units are all that Jim has. Comeback is real. Third base is cancelled. We do have a couple Stalkers warping in. But again, we only have 2 gateways. 4 more gates are on the way, but they're still on the way. We need them here and now. There we go. Another Nidus is being thrown down as well. So the queens, they can spread their creep. They have their anti-air. They can transfuse against the Void Rays. Can Jim hold on? He's trying to throw down as many shield batteries as possible. Ooh, but the death of the Cybercore means no more Blink Stalkers. We do have an overcharge to try and keep the Cybercore alive, and it looks like JimRising will hold on to it a little bit longer. He needs to warp in. He's not supply blocked. He needs to warp in as much as possible. Warp in, puppy, warp in. Ah. And here we go. The second wave of Stalkers are on the way. Immortals are coming out. He is successfully slowing this down. Eventually, the Cyber Core will go down, but he was able to get a couple of waves of those Stalkers in before that happened. Now we need Zealots, but we need Zealots. We need Zealots. Oh, God. Overcharge is already popped. There we go. Wave of Zealots are on the way, but they get piled down. And it looks like JimRising has held the ZergLord. He's not going to commit any longer. He droned up. He made a wave of drones behind this. Getting another base as well. I can't believe it. Jim held. Crazy, crazy. Focuses down the Nidus, and he's going to be able to chase all of this down with slow lots of all things. Ugh. And this isn't the worst thing for the ZergLord. Again, his drone count isn't looking too bad. He's at 80 drones. It's actually looking really good. He has a 4th base behind this. He was droning up. He's taking his gases. He teched up as well. Hydrogen was already started. So even though he didn't kill JimRising, he kept JimRising contained on 2 bases. And you could argue that was worth it. JimRising's trying to push out across the map, but again, there's more than enough to defend. He cannot commit. He knows that he backs off, clears up a little bit of this creep. Loses a couple of Zealots in the process. Thankfully for Jim, Hydra speed isn't done yet, so the ZergLord can't really chase this down. Only picks off another Zealot in the retreat. Barely not, actually. Up. Barely doesn't get it. Colossus are on the way, which is an interesting adaptation for Jim. 3rd base is just not gonna happen. Jim perpetually stuck on 2 bases. Jim is gonna try and save it. He has to. But he's forced to cancel once again. With the help of this Colossus, Jim has a pretty scary army here. And the ZergLord is respecting it. But eventually, Jim's gonna run out of money, and the ZergLord isn't. Not anytime soon. Oh, he gets on top of the Colossus. Almost gets it down. Biles actually connect with it as well. Oh god, it's so close. JimRising once again fighting his heart out. He needs a 3rd base so badly. And for now, he will get it up. We do have a 2nd Colossus joining the fray as well. I really want Disruptors, not gonna lie. We see a 3rd Colossus on the way. Unfortunately, JimRising a little bit supply blocked. 3rd and 4th Colossus, oh my god. There's a time and place for Colossus, but right now is the time and place for Disruptors, puppy. 3rd base is never gonna, it's just never gonna finish. Not like this. I almost want Jim to double expand at this point. I know he's not a Zerg player, and it's not quite that easy to try to get another base up and running. Meanwhile, we have a Hive, we have Vipers, the hard counter to all things Robo, whether it's Disruptors, Colossus, Immortals, Archons. Vipers don't give a damn. They will yoink, abduct everything they can. And this is going to be the nail in the coffin. JimRising has done so well holding on, but he hasn't been able to get a 3rd up. He is double expanding, by the way, but we need to see it cancel. Up. Like, Jim is desperately trying to expand, but the ZergLord is doing such a great job at stopping that from happening. And can Jim take a fight from here? I think like he can zone out Vipers. Let's be honest. He has Blink Stalkers, so there is a world where his Colossus don't get abducted. But if they do, it's over. Oh, he's being so aggressive right now. I don't like this. Why is he pushing so deep into creep? Not like this, puppy. Not like this. The Vipers are coming in. We do see the abducts one after the other. 3 Colossus get yoinked. They go down immediately. There's the 4th yoink with the death of the Colossus. Yes, that's the end of Jim. That's the end of the Protoss army. GG gets called, and the ZergLord fights back and takes game number 2. Oh my god. My heart. GG, well played. We have ourselves an ace match. Oh my god. Game number 3 is upon us. That was so close. Again, the 12 pool of the ZergLord didn't do too much, but I was really surprised with the follow-up. He was able to still get in with Lings and depower those gateways. Like, it took Jim so long to get into a Stargate. It took him so long to get into his Twilight Council, his Robo as well, to tech up. And because of that, his production was delayed, his third base was delayed, and he was never able to get his third base up and running. It kind of snowballed from there. The ZergLord, it was very smart of him to like turn up the aggression and to just keep JimRising contained after trying to tech up as quickly as possible. He recognized, hey, JimRising doesn't have a lot of production right now because he's trying to cut some corners and catch up. So let me just abuse that a little bit. It's very smart. Very smart play there by the ZergLord. And now we're tied up. Ay. Be honest, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting it. But here we go. We are going to be headed into the ace match. Oh, what were the vetoes? Are we finally going to get a ZvZ? We may. We have our ace match. Smallest map in the map pool. Shortest rush distance, I should say. It's going to be Berlingrad. Does Jim switch to Zerg? He's up against the wall. Usually, when he loses with his Protoss, he goes back to Zerg. That's usually how it happens. Is it going to happen again? I don't know. He has Protoss selected. We're loading in. He's not switching. 3 games in a row. JimRising picks Protoss. Bold move, Jim. Bold move. On Berlingrad as well. The ZergLord, he just 12 pulls again, right? Like, this is the best map to 12 pull on. Why not? Why not? We'll see why not. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the Mexican Zerg player himself switching to Protoss, representing Estral Esports. It is JimRising. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player himself, not going for a 12 for this game. Representing Team Super, it is the ZergLord. Fighting back oh so hard in this series. He will not get 2-0'd, not by someone of the likes of JimRising. And the ZergLord, ooh, interesting here with his drone, goes straight for his third. Doesn't even waste time at the natural, even though he potentially could have taken it. Doesn't want to waste time, doesn't want to give Jim the satisfaction of delaying his natural base. And the ZergLord opening up hatch first is a little bit surprising, a little bit. So a couple of things about this map. Oh, hello, drone. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What? What? Oh my god! Okay. Interesting. So what's interesting about this is we didn't have a pool first. Oh, he canceled it. Oh, but he scouted the cancel. This is why I was perplexed, because he went hatch first. But no, it wasn't a hatch first. But Jim checks. He confirms that the hatchery was canceled. So now he's getting ready back at home. He's fully walling off. He knows about the proxy hatch. He hasn't seen it, but he knows. And now he confirms. Oh my god, Jim with the big brain scout. He saw everything. Worst case scenario for the ZergLord. So the plan here is to throw down some spine crawlers with the hatchery. Lings are on the way back at home. Roaches are on the way as well. That is why we didn't have a fast spawning pool, because it's going to be roaches, not a Ling flood. But because of this, it's going to take that much longer, and JimRising has a lot of time to prepare and respond. I love it. Forge is on the way for cannons. Second and third pylon as well. We need some shield batteries as well. Robo being thrown down for the fast immortals. Oh my god. He's literally getting everything right now. So, a couple of things. He has, because he scouted and he saw that it wasn't a pool first, he knows that it's not going to be the Ling variant, because there are multiple variants of this all-in from the ZergLord, of the proxy hatch. 2 Lings do slip on by, so Jim does slip up a little bit there with his micro. Ooh, but with this Zealot, he will be able to deny any kind of spine crawler. This drone is not going to be able to get a spine up. Oh, and it actually goes all the way back home. Meanwhile, roaches are coming out here. We do have some cannons and some zealots, but no shield battery. Oh, zealot is going to go down. I'm surprised. No shield batteries. What the hell? Jim? Question mark? Second zealot comes out. I don't think this is the response here. The cannon is slowly being piled down. We do have an immortal on the way, which is cool. But this is the only gateway, and it's vulnerable. Jim. Here we go. We have the death of the first cannon. Meanwhile, we do have an immortal, but only a single immortal. There's no shield battery to keep it alive. Jim, we needed shield batteries, Papi. He pulls the boys. The cannon's gonna go down. The immortal's doing whatever he can, and he will be able to focus down every single one of these Ravagers. Oh my god, the micro is pretty goddamn good. But again, there's no shield battery in range. The shield battery is pretty far back. The wall is up and running. We have another shield battery on the way. Yo, Jim is being so ambitious with this, and he's gonna be able to try and get this Ravager. Can he get the queen? Ooh, he will get the queen. Will it cost him his life, though? Looks like it will. Immortal goes down again. Shield battery just wasn't in range. If it was, the immortal would have survived. And with 2 immortals, JimRising easily holds this. Oh, the queen, no! Queen goes down. No more transfuses available here. You have a second queen joining the fray. Back at home, there is no droning, by the way. The ZergLord is still 100% all in. Oh my god, Jim is just so... Okay, this time there is a shield battery to keep this alive, thankfully. I was like, mate, he's so careless with his immortals. Really, I should say he's careful. He knows what he's doing. GG gets called. He shuts this down. Too much momentum. JimRising takes game 3 and the entire series. Oh my god. GG, well played. Congratulations, JimRising. Again, because of his shield battery positioning, like it was looking a little bit shaky there. The fact that he was losing his immortals the way he was, but it was the right call to go for immortals the way that he did, because immortals, they kill queens, they kill roaches, they kill ravagers. We saw how much damage they were doing and how they were just shutting down any kind of aggression. Not just that, but his movement with his zealot denying the spine crawler. The spine crawler changes a lot, because if we do have a spine crawler, then the gateway probably dies, or maybe even the cyber core as well. Like the buildings become a little bit more vulnerable, and we do have a little bit of an anchor point for the Zerg player. But without a spine, it's really difficult to make that happen. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, JimRising, for advancing on to the grand finals, where he will be facing Ryu.